I want to call your attention to a country that you probably don't think about a lot. Yemen, a country smaller than the state of Texas with about 28 million people that sits at the southwest corner of the Arabian Peninsula, just under Saudi Arabia. It is a country torn apart by civil war. It has been for the last 3 years. Now, I'm certain many of you won't admit it openly, but you don't care about Yemen. You got your own problems, and there's enough going on in this country. But let me give you a list of reasons why you should care. Afghanistan, Nicaragua, El Salvador, Bosnia, Somalia, Korea, Vietnam. These are all countries that most people hadn't even heard of until the United States military got involved. Here's a news flash. We're involved in Yemen. Right now, United States Special Forces are helping a Saudi-backed coalition to identify and destroy Houthi rebels who have taken control of half the country, including the capital of Sana'a. Saudi Arabia is helping the overthrown government because it doesn't want a hostile government right at its border. According to the UN, as many as 70,000 people have died in Yemen. Most of them civilians from famine and a cholera outbreak. The United Nations calls what's happening in Yemen the world's worst humanitarian crisis. And yet there has been little, almost no news coverage in this country. Why? Because the media is obsessed with Donald Trump's tweets, Jim Acosta's hard pass, and what's happening with the wall. Recently, there has been some renewed interest in Yemen after Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi was murdered in a hit ordered by Saudi prince and head of government Mohammed bin Salman. I know, President Trump says it's not conclusive. I'll go with the CIA on this one. The question is, why is Donald Trump defending a murdering prince? It's not a complicated answer, and it's been the answer for past presidents too. As my dad always said, the answer to every mystery is money. You see, the Saudis paid for our services and our equipment, and apparently Donald Trump's loyalty, and he is very honest about it.
I worked very hard to get the order for the military. It's $110 billion. I believe it's the largest order ever made.
That order included American laser-guided bombs that have killed thousands of Houthi rebels and civilians in Yemen. You see, this is all connected. We have forces in Yemen right now helping the Saudis because of the money. The president all but ignored the murder of Saudi journalist Khashoggi because of the money. And if we get more and more involved in the civil war in Yemen with limited American national security interests, it's because of the money. By the way, as with every conflict involving Muslim countries, the civil war in Yemen is between two Muslim sects, the Sunnis and the Shias. They have been fighting for 1,400 years since the death of Prophet Muhammad. The Saudis are Sunni and the rebels are Shia. We are never going to end that war. We just supply the weapons and profit from it, and every once in a while we get directly involved if we fear our side is losing. There is some good news. The United States Senate recently overwhelmingly passed a bill to stop the funding to the secret war in Yemen. But if it gets to President Trump's desk, he says he'll veto it. He shouldn't. Defense contracts are one thing. Sending in Americans, even as advisors, is frightening. If past is prologue, we should learn from our mistakes, even our mistakes from recent history, and get out of Yemen now. Talk to you again next week.